And we ask if Tiffany's numbers are perhaps a larger sign for the entire luxury community. Joining us to talk more about the state of luxury items in the world, Mykolas Rambus. He's the CEO of WealthX. Thank you very much. Welcome to the show. Let me first start by asking you, luxury goods have been on the rise around the world for some time now. Even during the crisis, before the crisis, there really wasn't ever a very large setback. So that's no surprise. The question is that trend still intact today?
Luxury is still going to grow. The reality is there are about 200,000 people globally, the ultra affluent, who drive the luxury marketplace, and they're still spending like they never have before. We see it if you're looking at yachting, if you look at aviation, if you look at retail, leather goods, the Hermes, the Burberrys. They're still doing very well because this community is growing and spending more money. I'm just
curious. You know, I don't recall a time perhaps in the past decade when people felt like they wanted to spend so much money on luxury items. What's causing this anxiety among shoppers out there to spend the way they're doing right now?
You know, a lot of it has to do with new money. If you look at most of the pockets of the world, whether it's Latin America, Middle East, you look at Russia, CIS, or certainly Asia, where there's a fast-growing number of individuals who are new to the wealthy ranks, they're looking to display their wealth. They're looking to show that they've arrived, and so as a result, they're buying luxury goods in ever-increasing quantities.
And this trend is likely to continue over the next, say, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years?
We think or longer. In fact, interestingly enough, if you look at where we are in wealth creation in Asia and the rest of the world, it looks a lot like the US and UK Industrial Revolution. We think we've got 150 years left to go. So certainly further than our 401ks will take us.
It's going to last a lot longer than we're probably going to live. Let me ask you, we throw the word around luxury items a lot. And you know, as I ask different people on the street or in the newsroom, luxury means a different thing to different people. For some it's cars, for some it's artwork, for some it's buying perhaps a mutual fund. What is defined as a luxury item?
You know, everyone's got their own view of what really is luxury, and in fact, a lot of the brands themselves are reinventing themselves because their brands become too accessible. And I won't pick names right now, but there's a lot of brands out there who have that challenge. Really, it's about the inaccessible, the hard to find, the hard to get that is defining authentic luxury these days. But again, there's not a whole lot of it out there. We're seeing a democratization, if you will, of luxury that's been happening, and now the pendulum is swinging back the other way, where brands are trying to retrench and have limited lines going to a limited number of people.
You mentioned the growth of China and Asia earlier, but obviously that's a huge part of it. In a recent survey that was done, I mean, it showed a lot of folks in that part of the region plan to spend a significant amount on luxury items. And they define luxury items as financial products or luxury travel. Is that potentially two big areas of growth?
They are. In fact, they're probably a pretty good area to look at these days, but a lot of it will also end up in places we're familiar with today. So that's going to be leather goods, it's going to be fashion and apparel. You know, one of the things happening now with some of the focus on conspicuous consumption, particularly in various parts of Asia, is a desire to still have those luxury goods but make it a little less obvious. So instead of watches, it'll be high-end suits, for example. Instead of cars, it'll be the vacation that's overseas somewhere else, where families and individuals can still enjoy the wealth that they've accumulated.
I spoke to somebody who works quite close with Louis Vuitton, and this is out there in Asia, and we had a very frank chat about the growth out there. And there was some under-the-table talk that as these luxury items become more and more popular, and basically if everyone has a Louis Vuitton bag, it makes the Louis Vuitton bag not so special. When do we get there?
It looks like it's already happening, frankly. If you go to most parts of the world, you'll see a lot of Louis Vuitton brand. You'll see a lot of other brands, too. And that's, like you said, the issue of what is luxury these days. If it's accessible to all, it probably isn't luxury anymore. And that's where some of these organizations, these brands, are having challenges redefining themselves and their ranges to adjust to new consumer tastes. We certainly see a trend toward less visible branding, less logos, in various markets, including in Asia. That's going to continue. Look at Japan, which is arguably the most evolved luxury market in Asia. I think we'll see a lot of the patterns there propagate throughout the rest of the region.
Mykolas Rambus, CEO of WealthX, helping us define what luxury items are. Thank you very much for joining us live from New York City. The World News starts right now with Mike Moulter.